What's up, party people? Welcome back to the rally. Just going to go over Bitcoin and maybe a couple of altcoins today. I'm going on vacation and I'll be back Sunday, so let me go through this. So looking at the hourly chart, we had Bitcoin the top down to where we bounced at, and then this is the hourly. I'm sure I just said that, but there's resistance zones up in this green right here. So the 1.236 at 79,550. And this 1618 at 81,438. Currently having a pullback, so hopefully bounce and head to these higher levels. So now I'm going to start looking for pullback areas. You can see from here down to here, we pulled back into this zone where the 618.76 is, and we bounced out of that. So I want to look for pullback levels on the hourly now, since we are having a pullback. RSIs are at the bottom on the stock RSI. The regular RSI is trending back down. So we are cooling off. So I'm going to remove the drawings. We're going to find pullback level. And then also, if you wanted to find higher prices, you're just going to track this. So like, say if this was the high, then we'll be heading to like 80K at 1618. If this was the low, then like 80K, but we'll track this down as it comes down, and then we'll find our bid prices once we find the bottom. But currently we're just going to go from top to the bottom. Could even go to this bottom right here, because this was like the recent. Let me set reverse. So you can go from this top to this bottom, 618.786. So that's about 76,572, and the 786 at 75,783. So that could be the first zone. But if it's going to come down to this bottom again, and then you have this whole green zone right here between the 618 and 786 right here. So anywhere between 76,596. Yes, yeah, 76,596 to 74,959. So in this zone, depending if you're coming here or here. But I usually go from here because you want the lower high right here. So you want the come down and then bounce. So this low will be higher than this low, and this low will be higher than this low. That's what you want. So that's why I usually go from right here. But if it does need to come down lower, then you don't want it to go under this low right here. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to go from this low just so we can monitor it. So right here, again, and this is just the hourly. You can see right now we're already trying to break the 382, come to 0.5, and then into this zone. So we'll see what happens. And let's go check the daily. So again, the daily looks like, yeah. So we had this top down to this bottom where we bounced, and then it hit right in our green zone at the 1.236 at 78,904. And the 1618 at 83,800 would be the top. So if the hourly comes down, find support in that zone we talked about, and then bounce and try and hit these areas up here. But looking at the RSIs, the daily stock RSI, I didn't think it would have been at the bottom already, so that's good. Nope, dang it. See, looking at the wrong chart. So the daily stock RSI is trending up, so that's good. Trying to bounce on the daily. Regular RSI. Still trending up, so that's good. Still has some more room to go. You can see, again, from the top to the bottom, we wicked into this area right here. So now we can look for a downside on the daily downside. So remove drawings. The daily time frame. Right here, the bottom to the top. And look at this 618786. We need a bigger pullback. And that's 618 is 70,173 and 67,814. So this is for a bigger pullback. This starts at 70,173, and the hourly starts at 76,000. So that's 76.5 to 75.7. And then this is lower down between 70 and 67 for the daily, for a bigger pullback. Now we're going to look at the weekly. So you can see from the all-time high down to this low at 60,000, we're coming into 382, so that's stronger support, 79,732. To break that, then you normally start heading up higher to these levels, which would be the 76 at 107,700 and the 618 at 95,042. You can see that was resistance here, and then we fell. So, and then looking at the weekly RSIs, the regular RSI through the signal line, bullish coming up to the 50 level. So we could have issues at the 50 level. The stock RSI, we'll see where it is this week if we're up in this zone. So starting to overextend a little bit. So maybe a pullback, but it still has more room to go to get up here. So you can see here we had, when we got up here, we had this move up here, a little dip, a little higher high right here, and then we had this move right here. So, but if we need to pull back on a weekly, so we're going to take this fib, bring it down to the top where we're currently at. We're going to reverse the fib. Go right here to the top we just hit, down to the bottom, 618,786. Would be right here in this zone between 66,804 and 63,722. It's off a little bit, but I mean, don't have to get the exact, but you want to look at this between these zones, 618, 66,833, 63,738. And if we break this zone, if we're bearish, then my targets under this level would be 56,134 and 50,396. That's if we're like really bearish, but we'll see if it comes out of the zone. Can't, may not come into the zone, but if this was a top, this is what we'll be looking at. If it's not the top and we're going higher, you just keep tracking this zone up, track the fib up, and find your levels for pullbacks. So that's a weekly pullback area. And I showed you the daily pullback area and then the hourly pullback area. So that's the first one we want to watch. We want to watch the hourly, and you can see right now it's holding the 382. So we may not even get down in here, but we'll see what happens. Just be watching the hourly fibs. See, it's already at the bottom. Be watching to see how high this goes. You can see you had a bounce. We'll have another bounce right here. Or it may need to come back down to oversold again and then bounce higher, but hopefully we bounce soon. since we're already at the bottom here, but we'll see. So that's Bitcoin. And we'll check the Bitcoin dominatrix. So here's the Bitcoin dominatrix, and you can see, go to the daily levels, which this is just the hourly levels. So I have the hourly. So from this top to this bottom, 618.76 here, and then we blasted through it, got through the 1618 and the 1236. You can see we had issues at the 1618, came back down, and then we ended up blasting through it. So Bitcoin dominance is going crazy, but change to the daily. You can see what we're looking at on the daily. Move the drawings. Total went from this recent top to this low right here. This top right here, this low. You can see we're already trying to get over the 1618 at 60%, 60.61%. So we're going to go to the higher high. We're just going to go all the way up here. I don't even know. We'll just go here. And you can see this, and then we'll go to the low, the lowest point right here. There's the lowest point. Now we'll look for our 618786 right here. So between 62%, 62.34%, and 61.46%. So hopefully Bitcoin dominance comes up, has issues in this area, and comes back down. So Bitcoin dominance has Bitcoin dominance finds resistance and comes back down, then hopefully our altcoins will go back up. So let's go ahead and look at, let's save that. Let's go ahead and look at USDT dominatrix. So let's see what I was looking at here. You see it's starting to come down, so that means money is coming out of USDT and is going into Bitcoin and altcoins. But so let's go from looking at the daily levels. I want to go from bottom to this top right here. And I'm going to look for the 618786s. See, it's still trying to hold the 0.5 line. 618786. So 6.803%, and the 786 is 6.296%. So hopefully it starts going through. Bitcoin's going up, altcoins are going up, and then maybe find support in here and then go higher. And then Bitcoin cools off, maybe altcoins cools off, and then it's like an others dominatrix. I have a lot of lines up in here. Delete, delete, delete. So I went from this top to this recent bottom here. So others is the altcoins. Anything besides Bitcoin, I think has Ethereum in here and stuff like that. Top 10 dominance. There's a total market cap excluding the top 10 dominance. Okay. So it's coming down. Here's support area. So maybe this will find support. It's already trying to pump. It's trying to just come up. On the daily, you can see it's trying to turn the corner here. Still coming down a little bit. The hourly at the top, but it was oversold down here. And it's trying to come back up on the hourly, so that's good. So maybe it's rounding, and we start pumping up, hopefully. That'd be great for all the altcoins. That's the other dominatrix. If not, here's support at the 6.97% mark. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. And so let's go ahead and bring up POLYWOG real quick from the top down to where this pump is. The 618 is 0.0001210. So if we need to come down, right now we're finding support at 382. 786 is at 0.0001001. So hopefully come down here, find support. Well, I don't want it to come down here, but if it comes down here, this is the support areas. If you come all the way to the bottom right here, then you have this bigger zone. And at the bottom, the 0.786 is at 0.406573. But I'm just going to go from where this move started. So we had the top and then bounce. So I just go from the bounce level. And this would be the first zone I'm looking at. Looking at Pixel, you can see we tried to have a little pump. And then we got through 786 and 618. Well, we really didn't get through. We wicked through, but still had resistance at the 618, 76 and 618. So now we're just going to look for moves to the downside. And then we reverse the fib. So from this high, the bounce to the bottom. And we'll look at right here, 618, 786. Between 0.0055 and 0.004591. Maybe come down, bounce, head higher. RSIs, stock RSI on the 4 hours still coming down. 1 hour is at the bottom of the stock RSI. We're fighting this 50 level right here on the 1 hour. So that is what I'm looking at for Pixel. And let's go ahead and bring up POLYWOG. Bring up MAGA. So full screen. So you see we had from this top to this bottom, 618.76 came down, you fell through that, and then came down, made a newer low right here. But didn't come down here, but bring down to this low right here. 618.786 in that area, but I want to go, and you can see it's already pumping this morning. So let's just check the pump. So if it's going to pump, we'll let you pump. So reverse the fibs. Should have topped off a little bit, but I wasn't watching this morning. I think I got in around here, and it came down here, so I could have added, but I probably wouldn't have added because I want the bigger zones. So right now for this pump from this, well, let's go from the higher top. Higher top. 618 right here. You can see we're hitting the 50 line, having issues with the 618. 0.02335, 76.026. Break these levels, going to all-time highs. At the 1.618 at 0.03913, and then 1.236 at 0.03310. So if we break this 50 line, head here, maybe consolidate and head higher. RSI is breaking through the 50 line. This is the 1 hour, it's coming up. Stock RSI is coming up, 4 hour. trying to turn. See, we had the cool off, trying to turn and bounce. 4-hour RSIs at the bottom. And the daily is still overheated on both areas, both RSIs. So let's see, we can turn and break this corner. And the reason I said I wouldn't buy earlier, because would start at this low down here and find the 618.786. So since I already bought here, I'm not going to buy here and then buy here and then buy here and buy here and buy here. I'm going to wait until I have this big level. It'd probably be somewhere, I think, in here. I think it was here, that area. That would at least DCA. And then if it breaks through that, then I would wait to DCA one more time, depending on how far we go down. If we go down, right now we're pumping, just got through the 0.5 and we're heading back up. So let's see where MAGA, Make Aliens Great Again, goes. And thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you maybe Sunday. I can make a stream. But have a good day. Again, not financial advice, and see you in the next one.